honestly, been a bit of a fog for the last couple of days, ever since like the real ground invasion of Gaza has begun. Because yeah, that's my son in combat, right? Like directly in combat, which freaked me out quite a bit. Although, when was it? Tuesday, maybe Tuesday. They somebody just tweeted me about the timeless child. We're going to talk about it, right? We're gonna, 1 second. Wait. Let me respond. Where was it? I lit. Was it? Oh no, was it a message? 1 second. Talking about it right on this stream. Yes, we are going to be talking about the timeless child and the future of Doctor Who. That is going to happen, okay? On the stream now. Actually, you know what I was doing before I came on, before I started? I was in the dance stream from a couple of days ago, which had them all talking about the demons. I'm only about like half hour into the demons bit, not demons. One of the pearls of wisdom I learned was that it's pronounced demons. Thank you for Stephen Noonan here. Let me just give him the link. Doink. Doink. Oh, there you go. Fine. Where was I? Yeah, so I was been a bit before. But again, yeah, the ground invasion of Gaza has begun, and like, yeah, that's when people are going to start dying. Like, the people on my side are going to start dying, and it's not. Oh God, it makes me so. Like all the screaming and whining about the civilian casualties, which are, we're going to talk about significantly less than anything any other country has been able to manage, right? Significantly lower. And for God's sake, Hamas, just surrender, right? You again, if you want, they're like, oh, we must have a ceasefire. Oh, humanitarian crisis. Well, it's pretty simple. Okay, here's what you do. Hamas, surrender, give back everybody, give back all the hostages, right? And every missile and every bullet and every gun, right? Unconditionally surrender. We're a nuclear power. I don't know how much I can say that to you, right? You completely outgunned. You're crying like bitches constantly. And frankly, the whole world kind of said, unless you want, somebody who doesn't like Jews, and it kind of is a barometer of how you feel about Jews, this thing, right? Unless you're somebody who doesn't like Jews, just crying like bitches is so freaking much. Anyway, my son, so he phones us, I think on Tuesday, right? And said, yeah, okay, I'm giving my phone in, I can't give it. So then I was like, yeah, I'm kind of like out of it most of that day. And then the next day, my wife said, my son called. I'm like, what? How did he call? Well, turned out. And this is how I spent like 48 hours literally, on Spilkers. I'll give you a bit of a Jewish word for you, right? 48 hours. Turned out that they switched him into a different tank, which broke. And so he spent the last 24 hours fixing his tank, right? He must have been pissed. He must have been frothing at the mouth to go in. I don't know. I hope they stay safe. And then I keep hearing about, rockets attacking the north, and that's where somebody, my other son is. It's like, I don't want to know. And thankfully, casualties have been very low so far, right? But man, I think it was last stream when I saw like the first 11, 12 people, soldiers, and like, man, each one of them, right? Each one of them is like a knife in the heart. It really is. It's like, we don't approach life in the same way as Hamas, right? Life means something to us, right? And it just doesn't to them. Like, the reason their people are in dire straits, right? The reason their people are in dire straits is because they couldn't give a shit about their people, frankly, right? Their people are, like everything else, a tool, right? A tool to the aim of destroying Israel. And that's it. They use everything to destroy Israel. There's a clip. I didn't grab it because it's in Arabic, right? And it's like, it's in Arabic. You can't read. It's like you can't really tell. Like, I'm seeing lots of videos of people posting of Israeli settlers attacking Palestinians with their armies help and throwing them out their homes. And like, there's this insane worldview. There's a lot of insane worldviews, but there's an insane worldviews that Israeli settlers, which I am, right? I am a settler, right? I live in a place called Karney Shomron. It is in what people will call the occupied territories of West Bank. I call it Judea and Samaria, right? Quite frankly. But if it wasn't Jews here, it would be called disputed territory. But it's because it's Jews. Jews don't have to be treated differently, baby, and it's the weirdest thing. But they are, right? But they are. As we will be going. So there's all this stuff people believe, and they believe it with so much ferocity that they believe, like, firstly, settlers go around and they indiscriminately attack and they shoot Palestinians for giggles. No, we don't. I mean, yeah, look, I'm sure there's an element of out control use, but like, it's no more than where you live, and probably less so than where you live, right? It's not something that it's okay. But there's a concept in Judaism called Chilul Hashem, right, which is when you're a desecration for the name of God. And like a lumpet, if you're a religious Jew, you represent Judaism, right? And look, especially you've got the big ringlets things, the big, keeper, this one. You represent Judaism, and essentially you represent what we view as the will of God, right? You have got to hold yourself to a higher standard at all freaking times, right? And so there's really no, I would say, little to no tolerance in where I live, or anybody I know really wouldn't have any tolerance about it. In fact, I remember during, the 2014? Was it 2014 when those 3 boys were kidnapped and murdered by Hamas? And it was my kid's bat mitzvah or bar mitzvah. I can't remember which kid it was. And we didn't have any, and everyone was waiting to go into Gaza then and do what they're doing now. They didn't have the will to then, but like, people were pissed. I'm glad they're doing it now. Also, Obama was the president, which would have been tricky. Anyway, who wasn't so pro-Israel? I remember there was during that time when tensions were very, very high, there was a Palestinian kid who was kidnapped and murdered, right? I mean, tortured and murdered, like burnt to death. It was horrific, right? And they said, settlers did it, right? Settlers did it. And I'm like, we're all like, off. No, we did. Don't be ridiculous, right? Now, turns out it was like a mentally ill guy who was like co-opted by these pieces of shit to do it, essentially, right? But man, the shame, the palpable shame across not just settlement, Israel, the palpable shame that we would have done, one of us would have done that. It wasn't like we're handing out candies, right? So I just don't think we're of the temperament to do this. But again, I was watching Ben Shapiro at Oxford Union and believe the most evil. They just assume Jews are evil, right? That's really what it's down. They just assume that Jews are evil, right? What's this I just got forwarded? Hang on. I think it's a friend of mine just got engaged. A friend of mine has just got engaged. Very nice, very nice. But like, they just assume Jews are evil, right? It goes right back to blood libels, right? When they said Jews use Christian baby blood in their religious rituals of Passover. So when they got chased out of towns with pitchforks, people felt justified in doing that, right? They felt very justified in doing that, because they figured Jews were kidnapping babies and using their blood. It'd be like that would be a reason to be pissed off. I would agree with you about that, right? But it's not true. Like, so the idea that Israel was a colonizing army and came in and pushed out all the Palestinians and performed atrocities upon them to create this land, it's absolute nonsense. And they believe it. They believe it with so much fervor. I mean, like, honestly, they keep saying genocide. Dude, it wouldn't take us 75. A couple of stories that I want to look at. Hamas rockets hit Kiryat Shimon. I know Kiryat Shimon. I've been there many times. Idea, fuel for Gaza hospitals if needed. Okay. I mean, honestly, it looks like IDF needs to go in, capture hospitals. Wow, what's that? go in, capture hospitals, and then they can control the fuel. But yeah, this is something that maybe feel good today. IDF fend off nighttime Hamas ambush as battalion commander killed in Gaza. I didn't know the battalion commander. Terror operatives tried to take over an armored vehicles during intense hour-long battles, like a 3-hour battle, I heard. Army says it's using AI to identify thousands of fresh targets as Gazan rockets attack slow. That if they're attack slow, that means they're running. That means we're starving them out. Oh, we could get this over. I don't know. I think it could take a few months, but we could get this over quicker. Fierce battles continue to raise in the Gaza Strip on Thursday, with troops fighting off a vicious overnight Hamas ambush, and the military saying it was using artificial intelligence. Okay, we just said that. The Israeli Defense Forces on Thursday afternoon announced the death of senior officer during the fighting in Gaza, bringing the military death total to 18. And 333 is the beginning of the war. Well, listen, the first 300 and what was it, 18 minus the first 33 minus 18. It's first 315. You caught us by surprise. We're doing better now. The army said ground forces and tanks clashed with Hamas terror cells in northern Gaza Strip overnight, killing dozens of operatives in what the Times of Israel has learned was an intense and chaotic midnight battle that raged for over 3 hours following. And I actually saw one of the people who were in that battle, right? Targeting soldiers from the Golani's 13th Battalion. Golani is infantry. They also have tanks. In a statement made Thursday morning, the IDF troops said the Golani Infantry Brigade had taken part in prolonged battles against Hamas terrorists who had fired missiles, set off explosive devices, and hurled grenades at forces. Hamas gunmen tried to ambush the Israeli force at midnight, emerging from tunnels and attacking them with anti-tank missiles, mortars, and drones. That they failed is fantastic, right? They tried to enter armored personnel carriers and take control of them. More than 20 terrorists were believed to have killed. Yes! And you know what? I don't weep for a freaking second, right? Not for a freaking second, right? That's why I keep wanting to put on that bit from Inglourious Basterds at the beginning of the, on the intro. That I want my scalps, my Nazi scalps, right? Look, the quicker Hamas is destroyed, the better the world will be, right? The world will be. At the end of the fighting, dozens of terrorists were killed, said the IDF. The military said the troops of the Nahal Infantry Brigade also encountered a group of Hamas gunmen who opened fire on them and directed an aircraft to strike and kill a terror cell. So look, I mean, we're doing quite good, but man, the bitching and whining, makes you crazy. Makes you freaking crazy, mate. I'm like enough of your whining. First, let's hear a bit of Alan Dershowitz.
To kill combatants. It has the right to kill the head of Hamas in central Gaza. And hopefully it did so. And that was good. And if civilians died, that's the fault of Hamas. Let's be very, very clear about that. Let's assume Hamas is correct. And
I mean, this is something that you got to keep whenever you're in the pub, whenever people are talking, whenever they, it's out of control. Yeah. Every civilian dying, every Palestinian civilian, every civilian dying is on the head of Hamas, right? Right, and it's based on bollocks. It's based on bollocks that Jews are evil and want to destroy everyone.
7,000 people, 6,000 people have been killed. Probably 2/3 of them are not civilians, but let's assume 1,000 or 2,000 real civilians were killed. How does that compare to what the United States did after 9/11? The United States went into Iraq, we went into Afghanistan. Hundreds of thousands of civilians died. In Iraq alone, the estimate is between 270 and 330 civilians died. Did we see demonstrations in the street? Did we see students marching? Did we see these kinds of...
No, of course we bloody didn't, right? Of course we bloody didn't, because it's Jews, right? And we have sugarcoated this for years and years. It's Jews. They don't like Jews defending themselves, right? They do not like Jews being able to defend themselves, right? They hate that, right? We should be lambs to the slaughter. I'm sorry, mate, that's over, right? That is over, right? At the bottom line. I'm trying to download this next thing for this. I was going to say. Yeah,
attacks at.
They say 75 years occupation, 75 years of Jew hatred based on another few thousand years before.
The United Nations, no. The United States had a job to do. It had to get rid of ISIS. It had to get rid of Al-Qaeda.
I mean, in all fairness, it was Trump that did that.
And it did. And civilians paid the price. But it was a war.
Yeah, look, this is what war looks like. I don't know. Stop crying like bitches because you started a war that you can't possibly win, right? You cannot possibly win this war. There we go. There's this as well.
The pain of Gaza, the pain of Israel. Everyone is suffering.
So this was cut out from, I think, the BBC interview. And you can see why, right? You can totally see why. I'm trying to download this video. How do I do this? How is it this one? Delete, react, message. This is a great video. How am I going to download it? God, I hate WhatsApp. I just tell you how much I freaking hate WhatsApp, right? I can never work out how to freaking use it. So message someone, no. If I press this, is there a, what's this? No, that's the wrong button. There's no right button to download this with. Oh, I freaking hate WhatsApp. I really do, okay? Genuinely do. Maybe if I forward it, I'll be able to download. Oh, one second. Hang on, I bet it's on my phone. I bet it's on my phone. Let's see if I got it on my phone. That would be helpful. Unless, yeah, I got to probably play it on my phone, and then I can download it. Then I can put it, there you go. Because this is actually worth the hassle. Okay, so how do I do this? Share, no, save. Is it saved? Did it just save? Well, that seemed easy. Oh, it did. Get out of here. Okay. So now I do share. Doink. Oh, this is totally worth the effort. Right? Totally. Oh, yeah, I forgot in the middle of playing this.
There's a real culture of atrocities that is coming forward with a whole army called ISIS, Hamas, and Al-Qaeda. It was in 9/11. It's in beheading people in Europe. It's in torturing and doing what the Houthis are doing down south. It's all over the region.
And everybody hates Herzl, right? Herzl's a dick. That's who this guy is.
Whether we fight them or not. Exactly. That took a long time until Winston Churchill took over, after he threatened and alerted against the Nazi regime. We paid the price. We caved in. We enabled again and again and again to have ceasefires. And what happened? The highest amount of Jews killed since World War II, since the Holocaust, was on 7th of October. It's 8 times more in proportional numbers than 9/11. What else do you expect us to do? How do we protect ourselves as a family member in a family of nations?
Well, you got to understand, you're a Jew, and you don't have the right to be there in the first place, you evil occupier. So you should just roll over and die. Maybe they'll kill you quickly, or they won't just cut your heads off the babies.
What's all right here? We don't want to inflict pain. We tell people move out. But we have to get these terrorists and get them out.
Yeah, and we are doing that, and it's going to cost us a lot of young lives, right? And it's a sacrifice we're making for the fucking world. And that's the way I look at it. It really is. And look, this is pushing everything to a head. Like, there's another one of these insane Palestinian pro-Palestinian protests. Here, let's have a look at what ones. Well, is it Jew hatred, or is it they just don't like the policies of Israel?
At a Free Palestine rally to see what they're really about.
Hey, how would you describe it, Jew?
They're devils.
Who's at fault?
The Jews. Always been a problem.
So if they do take Palestine, where do the 12 million Jews go?
Go to hell. Yeah, that's the literal slogan.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
That is a literal slogan.
Okay, if we free Palestine, where do the Jews go?
Hey, go back to Brooklyn, bitch! Shout out to Kanye. He was right.
How do I know that you are...
That I'm not a Jew? Get the fuck out of my face. Get out of my fuck.
The Hamas book, the action they've taken, it's not a terrorist attack.
I am queer for Palestine, yes.
What do you think about the argument when people are saying in Gaza they kill gay people?
It's very unsafe to be queer here, too.
You have no idea what unsafe means, darling.
But they're not actually killing gay people for being gay by law, right? The way it is in Gaza.
But why do we keep going back to, like, Gaza?
Why is
Because you're there for Gaza, you dumb cunt.
there such a basis for them to have a homeland? Nobody else has a homeland.
Where are you from, if you don't mind me asking?
My family's from Afghanistan.
In Afghanistan, by the way, so that's a Muslim country, right?
Predominantly, yes.
So would you consider that your homeland?
Yes, so I guess I do have a claim over that, but you can't claim Israel.
No, because they're Jews.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, look, I don't really want to get into the grisly details of what happened, but I think it's important because we're literally looking at Holocaust denial in process, right? And it really is. And it's just an inversion. The Israelis have killed, indiscriminately bombed and killed babies. No, we don't. No, we fucking don't. So this is when members of Knesset, that's the Israeli government, they viewed footage from the body cams the sick fuck Hamas people were all wearing because they're sick fucks, obviously, it was like these people aren't pussies, but people come out crying, vomiting. And this is just finding out what happened. So, all right, once this, okay, a thing that's been playing on my mind all week, and obviously because it's awful, one of the worst things you can possibly imagine. They, one of the people, and they filmed this, right? They went into a house, they shot the father, right? They took a baby. They took a baby. They didn't kill the baby. The ones who had their throat cuts, they got off easy, right? They didn't kill the baby at first. They put it in an oven. They literally put the baby in an oven and baked it to death while the mother screamed. And then they held her down and they took turns raping her. And they filmed it, right? These are the sick fucks we're dealing with. And I'm sorry, there's no moral fucking equivalency. There is no moral equivalency whatsoever, right? Honestly, if it's like we will fight to every last man, every last woman, every last everything to destroy the world of Hamas. That's just what's going to happen, right? And I'm sorry, you don't like seeing what wars look like, right? You don't like seeing what wars look like. But just this insane ignorance, right? This is insane ignorance about everything going on. So this really shows us up very nicely. This guy asked if you'll sign a petition to free Palestine.
Petition to help Hamas free Palestine. You're all in? All right. Oh yeah, you're in? Easily. I just have to read terms and conditions just so you know what you're signing. Okay. By supporting Hamas freeing Palestine, you agree to the following. You agree that every Jew, Christian, and non-Muslim in the world must be slaughtered. I don't know about that one. You endorse making homosexuality punishable by jail or death. Oh, no, I don't. You don't agree with that? You believe Iran should use Palestinians as puppets to spread radical jihad and destroy the West? No? No. I'm glad I read.
What happened to free Palestine? What happened from the river to the sea, baby?
The terms and agreements. You support strict Sharia law, which bans women from showing their knees, hair, playing sports in public, not being able to travel without a man's permission. I'm sorry. Not interested? Oh, okay. You want a terrorist group that beheads babies and rapes girls to replace only democracy in the Middle East?
Not sure that's something to support.
So if I sign, I agree with this.
Yes. Baby, no. No? Okay.
Well, no. Thank you.
No.
I don't support any of these two things that you just read to me, so then I won't be able to sign this then.
That's fair. Yeah, thanks for not signing. Yeah, all right.
Right, and that's the thing, this intense ignorance, right? This intense ignorance. What was it? Ignorance, what? Spawning pure, undiluted anti-Semitism, right? Pure, undiluted anti-Semitism. Look at this from Harvard. disgraceful. I mean, literally disgraceful. Guy, a Jewish guy, just walking around, and they're like throwing things in front of him to stop him walking. Like, and that's for wearing a keep. I mean, like, again, and these people are on the right side of history, right? It's disgusting, right? And Douglas Murray is really nailing it, because he said it's so shameful that Jews don't feel safe in London, right? And they don't, right? They don't. But look, my message to any Jew living in England: it's time to leave, mate. It's time to. Why would I say that? Well, look, this is what your police is doing. They're tearing down the posters, right? It's like, you know, because they don't want passions to become inflamed, right? They don't. It's it. I mean, look, this is Sadiq Khan, right? This is Sadiq Khan through and bloody through, isn't it? I mean, like, again, oh no, inclusivity, and you know, and here we have a front page headline, quite rightly, right? Anti-Israel actors ripped out. We looked at this video. Hostage posters in petty acts of hate. Not a shred of decency. Named and shamed. Well, at least shamed. Good for them, right? Good for them. Well, where else is that? This is. This seems to be kind of like the the tone of the coverage.
Hey, boom! I'll make a bomb. Just let me put the timer. Look at what he's done to me! Me? Horrendous attack indeed. But a mega war crime of unprecedented proportions. He blew himself up. So I'm stupid, eh? Now that
Yeah, you kind of are.
Is racist, you know. What? I will slaughter him. Now, I'm afraid that's improper. Burn his babies? Impolite. Rape
Over jihad, that's fine.
him? He threw the rockets on himself, not my fault. Ah, really? And who made this bomb? You did. And who shot this bomb? You did. And who left Gaza 18 years ago, leaving it completely under my hands? I did. Aha!
Again, look what a joke the BBC is. Like, literally, I didn't notice that was unbelievable, the BBC. Always the Jews' fault. Always the freaking Jews' fault. Unfreaking believable. And again, like, yeah, this, but this seems to be a, was it this seems to be the point where England, I think the Western world is forced to ask, do we share values with a large population that's joined us in the last 20 years, 20, 30 years? Do we share values? You know, when Peter Capaldi would say, "Oh, everybody hates war," and everyone in Zygote invasion, Zygote inversion. Such a cop out, right? Such a freaking cop out. I mean, look at the sort of things that are going on in London, and like this, just complete disregard for London, right? I mean, look at this.
Ceasefire now! Stop bombing Gaza! Ceasefire!
Stop bombing Gaza! Oh no! Yeah, because listen, if a terrorist who has raped and murdered children, burn them alive, right? If they've done that, then and they hide behind children, it's all free, baby. It's all free. Fucking more.
Now! Stop bombing Gaza!
And I have to tell you, this is a litmus test if you hate Jews or not, right? This guy hates Jews.
Ceasefire now! Stop bombing Gaza! Ceasefire now! Stop!
And why they all hide their fucking faces, cowards? Oh, so much cowardice, right? So much cowardice. Although Yemen has gotten the war, but they got in the war in a really weird way, right? In a really, really weird, bizarre way. They released a music video, which I have to tell you, this doesn't scare me, right? It doesn't scare me at all. Bad green screen. I mean, really, mate? You want to give it a go? You pussies. Okay, then. Fucking Yemen. Oh, look, you got patches. Yeah, it's okay. We'll take those off your dead bodies. Oh, look, there's 7 of them. Oh, no. So they're talking about Al-Quds, which is the dome on the rock. I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to make an insane prediction. I'm going to make a prediction that, tell you, my predictions often come true, right? I had the... It was so frustrating, right? So incredibly frustrating. The central part of Judaism is loving each other, right? It's having love and respect for each other, each fellow Jew. You view them as your family, right? So talking shit is completely verboten. The former rabbi got himself in trouble. He made some dumb decisions, right? And his response was go headlong into a public desecration of these laws, right? Which what I found disturbing in of itself. But what I found really disturbing, right? What I found really disturbing is that first he had a little group of people who are like flag waving for him, right? This is going to tie into the war in a second. But the whole rest of the town, bar a few, right, couldn't give a shit. Could not have given a shit whatsoever. And I think my town is somewhat representative of, I don't think we're better, I don't think we're worse, right? But man, we had this idyllic little town with a little shul, a little synagogue where everybody was felt happy to go in. But they bullied out a whole bunch of people, right, with this talking shit about. So I was running around like my hair was on fire saying, we got to say this was wrong, right? We got, like we can't. If we say nothing, right, we say nothing, that's us saying we couldn't give a shit about what God wants. So like the central burning heart of our religion. Now, I think there's dire consequences. And all people heard was, because this guy came after me in a big way, was like, Tzvi wants revenge. Tzvi's crazy. Tzvi's got a grudge. No! Fucking morons, right? I was running around saying that I think we should treat God's Torah, God's Bible, right? God's law, as if it's worth something, as if it's meaningful, as if it matters. And the reason why I think we should do that is because if we don't, we are probably, either in this world or next, and certainly in this world, going to get an awful, awful, awful punishment from God. And that's what I believe this was, right? And I get it. I don't think the whole thing happened because of my little community. I think my community is representative. I think the same thing happened lots of places. And, you know, and now do you care about your fellow Jew? Yeah, now they fucking care. Maybe we could have done it with a few less people being raped and murdered. Maybe we could have done it with a few less babies' throats being cut, a few less people with their heads being cut off, a few less people having their legs cut off. They're fucking pigs, they are. Right. But no. But like it's had the desired result, right? It has had the desired result. From what I can see, is actually we'll end with this. But first, a little bit of gratuitous IDF pawns. Let's see them in action. Like, stop whining about all the civilian casualties. Just surrender. If we are overwhelming you with our massive force, just fucking surrender. Oh, that guy. Yeah, that's part of the Orchids division. That's the K9 division. Man, those people, those dogs are incredible, right? They are wonderful. So again, that's probably where my son is. Hey, so last bit of current affairs, and the reason that I'm really talking about this because I want you to talk to your friends, right? I want you to talk to other people To keep them informed. This is a informational war more than anything else. They're talking about a refugee camp being hit. It wasn't a refugee camp. Okay, I mean, technically it was, but it was like had buildings in it. It was part of a town called Jajalia. Was it Jajalia? I think. Yeah, they're going to say over here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Just had this right. I just saw it. Right, I literally just saw it. No, not that. Oh, there you go. Hit this one.
On the ground now, as you can see, we've got our military analyst, Professor Michael Clark, with us. Professor Clark, great to have you with us. So, look, 24 hours on from...
By the way, they had somebody on GB News who say, oh, Ukraine was so much easier because we had somebody we can get behind in Zelensky. We can't really... Fuck off. You just don't like Jews, darling.
That strike on the refugee camp, Jabalia. What do we know about the situation? What's that telling us about the way the war's being prosecuted?
Yeah, it tells us quite a lot, actually. The Jabalia camp is just an extension. The refugee camp is an extension of Jabalia, the town. It's where the town just sort of becomes even less planned and more chaotic. And a lot of people were there. And the damage that was done is pretty obvious. I mean, we look at the devastation. There were 4 craters. I mean, this is a vision just of one crater, but there were 4 craters. You can see it on other images, very close together. There were 4 missiles. They were very accurate, and they went straight through. There was not a lot of explosive devastation in the buildings above, because essentially these buildings are suffering from an earthquake that takes place below. And the weapon that has done it is the GBU-28, or sometimes the GBU-72. These are American-supplied, American-based.
Okay, GBU is a bad acronym. You want to get something a little bit cooler, like, you know, Death Tunneler. I don't know, Mind Reaver.
Quite big, 20-odd feet long. This is an American aircraft, F-15 Eagle, dropping it. But there it is. And the point about these is that they are bunker busters. And the Israelis took them in 2005. They intended them to attack Iran when they were thinking of taking out Iran's nuclear...
Yeah, we did that with a computer virus instead called Stuxnets. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Bunkers.
Yep.
And big, they are very accurate. They've got laser designators on their nose. And the Israelis find that...
I like they showed what the nose is. There you go. The nose is that bit at the front, the nasal bit.
The Israelis find that this is the best weapon they've got for taking out tunnels and bunkers underground. They've used them before in Gaza. The important point is what we...
300 miles of fucking tunnels they got to deal with.
I saw in Jabalia, there will be a lot more of this. If they're determined to take out the tunnels and to go for the bunkers, this is the only weapon they can use. It's accurate, it works, it burrows down about 100 feet under the ground, and then it explodes, kills everything and everyone down there, but creates an earthquake 100 feet above on the surface.
And they, apparently with this, they took out the guy who's in charge of their anti-tank missiles. Good! Given that both my kids are in tanks. The less expertise they have about that, the better. I 100%. And look, I'm sorry, there's collateral damage, but fuck you, mate. I'm sorry, this is war.
Through the ground, instantly.
Exactly. It doesn't explode on the...
By the way, when I was on GB News, I called in. Like, people didn't know it was me because I wasn't swearing enough.
Ground, it explodes under the surface, and it does damage on the ground. So what we've seen in Jabalia looks pretty bad. We will see a lot more of it if the Israelis are sticking to this policy, which I'm guessing that they are.
So, all right, Professor Clark.
So, as I was saying before, right, I totally believe that this is the end of days, that this is the war at the end of days. I think that we're into something crazy and absolutely incredible. I think it's going to end up with the Dome of the Rock going, because that's really what the whole Israel-Palestinian tensions have always been about. It's about the Dome of the Rock, right? The Dome of the Rock was built on the site of the former Jewish temple. There was 2 Jewish temples there. There was prophesied to be a third, and the third and final one that would stay until the end of time, right? And 3 times a day, Jews pray for that to be that come back. I think that's where we're going with this, right? I think by Passover, we might be there, right? I hope so. Anyway, I hope so. But I think that's where everything. But the thing is this, right? I was just talking before about how, like, my entire freaking town just could not care less about the laws of speech, which are central, right? Central. You know, why does in Jewish philosophy? Why does God give success and power to anti-Semitic violence, people who want to kill you because you're Jews? Why does God give success to them? because we don't give a shit about each other because we talk shit about each other. Essentially, it's a expression of the exile that we still live in. We've been living in exile for 2,000 years, even though we're back in Israel. The exile will only end with the building of that third temple, right? So why it's the definition of this exile, right? Where we are completely vulnerable to attack. And why are we in this exile? Because we talk shit about each other, literally, right? That's what, you know, our sages tell us. Because and it was done in the most public way, in the worst way possible, and everybody just pretended it didn't happen because they had egg on their face. Because they all said, "Well, he's the rabbi." When I said, "Look, this cocksucker's taking a piss on Judaism, right?" But he's the rabbi. They all said he might be a cocksucking rabbi. But for goodness sake, Jewish law applies to him too. More so, I would say. But everybody just swept under the carpet and pretended it didn't happen. Destroyed our synagogue, right? Now you just got the normies go there now, right? They chased out a bunch of people. Anyway, and I think that's why I think, God gives things. It's called mida keneged mida, right? Back to you in the same way that it does to you what you do. And he said, really? You couldn't give a shit about your fellow Jew? You couldn't give a shit about your brother? You couldn't give a shit about it? So let's find out how much you don't give a shit. And I think October 7th happened. And this is what's happened in its place, right? In its way, which is this is unprecedented in the Jewish world.
I want you to see what you've done.
The tensions between the ultra-Orthodox and the army were massive. They hated each other. Like if you walk down an ultra-Orthodox street in Jerusalem and in an army uniform, you would get attacked. Now look at it. Look, religious Jews, like super Orthodox religious Jews, making fufa for soldiers. United we stand. Right, and boy, we are united.
I just got back from soldiers on the field. They call this the spiritual shachpats.
Okay, so this is something a Jews wear as an undergarment. It's called tzitzit. I got them on as well. Yeah, they're these things. These fringes you tie to like a fork. I'm not going to go into it, right? But like secular Israelis are all asking for these now, right?
The armor vest, that's spiritual. 200,000 are being requested through the...
Yeah, look, there's whole teams of religious Jews tying these things. It's incredible. And they hate the state of Israel. Well, they did a couple of weeks ago.
דברי דיינה, אין דברים שלא קיבל.
For me, this makes me cry. This is the best thing ever. I have never seen Jewish unity like this, right? I have never seen Jewish unity like this. So it's, thank you, Hamas. I wish we could have got there without being such massive dicks, right? I really do. I wish we could have got there without being such incredible arseholes, which we were. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.